The sound of a dying chime, that is where Venat's story begins. What vision compelled her to shatter her soul into Hydaelyn, to bind herself to eternity's wheel? The final days loom not as prophecy, but as wound. The war for the source fractures time. Rebirths, they are no war for the source accident, each life a stitch, each death a thread. She alone anchors reality's unraveling edge. What did she see? A world devoured by chaos, or the ancient survival bought by her endless becoming? The chime fades. Silence hums, the question remains. Each cycle is no mere loop, it is a battle to hold the sundering at bay. The rejoining fractures time. The final days loom not as end, but as unraveling. The 13 reflections split, their calamities burn. Without her, timelines collapse into Hydaelyn's song, dynamis weaponized, despair made flesh. If the oracle's rebirth is necessity, then history is a warning. This is not past, it is present, it is coming. She is the anchor, without her all becomes ash, or worse becomes nothing. The first light did not choose Minfilia, she chose it. A blade through the heart, a soul bound to Hydaelyn's will, her death became the birth of an age. The convocation of 14 fractured that day, a god's voice now silent, a world's thread now frayed. Ryne of the 20s did not inherit a crown, she inherited a shadow. Thancred's whisper, a dagger's edge, asterisk choose your name. Claim your war, asterisk she did, not to rule but to mend. The oracle's rebirth is no cycle, it is a stitch. A needle through time's wrought, each life a thread, each death a knot. Without her the war for the source never ends, the past bleeds, the future cracks. What if Minfilia's sacrifice was not an end but a beginning? What if Ryne's choice was not defiance but duty? The convocation's ghosts whisper their answer. The light does not fade, it loops, it bends, it asterisk holds asterisk. Grief is not the cost of salvation, it is the price of a world's next breath. The warrior of light stands at the edge of the void, their form dissolving into prismatic shards. You have seen this moment 1,000 times. The crystal grows, a lattice of fractured starlight, embedding itself in the oracle's chest. Most call it a vessel for memories. Fewer ask what memory demands of its host. The crystal does not merely store, it asterisk binds asterisk. Each sundering, the 14 seats echoes surge into this fragile chorea storm of wars, loves, deaths, and choices. The oracle's body is not a container, it is a fulcrum. Consider the weight, 14 timelines. 14 versions of the warrior, their triumphs and failures, all compressed into a single heartbeat. The oracle does not remember these lives, they asterisk sustain asterisk them. Every rebirth is a recalibration, every death a reset. The crystal's glow is not magic, it is a counterbalance to the war for the source's unraveling. What if the oracle's tears are not grief? What if they are the price of stitching time's frayed edges? When the warrior of light reaches for the crystal's core, they do not awaken memories, they asterisk stabilize asterisk them. Each touch reinforces the boundary between chaos and order. The oracle's voice, so often a whisper of guidance, is actually a pulse keeping the tides of entropy at bay. The forbidden truth lingers in the silence between beats. The oracle's curse is a covenant. Their body is a dam against a flood of collapsing realities. Without their endless loop, the war for the source would not merely repeat, it would asterisk consume asterisk. The crystal's prismatic light is not hope, it is a firewall, burning away paradoxes before they spread. And still the cost is paid in blood, in scars, in the slow erosion of a soul stretched thin across eternity. The warrior of light does not fight for salvation, they fight to let the world asterisk breathe asterisk. The oracle's rebirth is no accident, it is the only language time understands. The echo was always there, a footnote in a raid tome, a whisper in LP's static, not a relic, a asterisk key asterisk. Venat's tether to the warrior of light does not stretch through time. It asterisk pulses asterisk through Azim's shard, a fractured soul, a fractured world. The oracle's rebirth is no loop, it is a counterweight. Each life a stitch in the fabric Hydaelyn's war tore. What if the convocation's legacy was never unity? What if it was a fracture, a choice to split one power into Miniso time might bend, not break? The shard in Azim's chest is not a weapon, it is a mirror. The warrior of light does not wield it. They asterisk answer asterisk it, a signal sent backward through the echo. A call to stabilize the axis where oracles are born and die. The oracle's curse is not her cycle. It is her asterisk precision asterisk. She's not reborn by fate, by asterisk design asterisk, each death a recalibration, each birth a recalibration. The world breathes because she anchors it, but what if the anchor is failing? What if the shard's pulse grows faint and the echo's doorway begins to close? Venat watches, waits. The warrior of light walks a path older than light itself. Their steps do not erase the past, they asterisk rewrite asterisk it. The oracle's next life will not be a beginning, it will be a correction, a final stitch before the tapestry unravels. And still the question lingers. When the last oracle falls, will the world shatter or remember what it once was? The oracle does not remember her first death. The pain lingers, though sharp, clean, a blade of light severing thread from tapestry. Venat's sundering was no accident, it was a scalpel. A god's hand splitting the source's twin hearts to see which soul would bleed gold, which would rust. Zodiark's fall was not defeat, it was unmaking. When the war for the source shattered the heavens, Venat carved the world into fragments, each a crucible. The ancients, stripped of their celestial forms, were thrust into mortal flesh-dusted not by strength, but by the weight of forgetting. And in the void left by Zodiark's absence, the oracle was planted. A seed of light bound to bloom and burn in an eternal season. Her rebirths are not a loop. They are a counterbalance. Each time she rises, the fractures in time narrow. Each death a stone set in the foundation of a reality that would otherwise collapse into the primordial void. The oracle's cycle is no curse, it is the price of stability. A debt paid in blood and memory, so the world may forget it ever teetered on the edge of oblivion. You have felt it, haven't you? The moment when the sun hangs too still in the sky, when shadows stretch in impossible angles. That is the oracle exhaling, that is the world holding its breath between her deaths. Venat's test is not over. The ancients walk as men, their souls weighed in scales only the oracle can see. And Shesh is both judge and shield, a flickering candle in a storm of unraveling time. The next death will come. The next birth will follow, and the world will not remember it was ever otherwise. Here lies the contradiction. Her agony is both prison and key. The oracle's rebirths are not a flaw in the design, but its fulcrum. Hydaelyn's song did not merely unleash dynamis, it carved a wound in time's fabric, a gash that bleeds the final days forward. Each cycle seals that rift, each death stitches the world's unraveling edges. What appears as cruelty is calculus. The oracle's pain is the counterweight to Hydaelyn's dirge, her existence a dam against the flood of despair-made matter. Yet why must salvation wear the face of a prisoner? The answer gnaws. The sundered self was never about good or evil, it was about scale. Hydaelyn and Zodiark's war fractured reality into a debt, the oracle pays it in flesh. Her curse is the only arithmetic that balances the books. Does a chain's weakest link bear the blame for holding the whole together? The question dies in the throat. The world does not remember, it never will. The oracle's cycle is no accident. Her rebirth is a deliberate wound, a stitch in time's unraveling seam. The war for the source shattered the world into 13 fractured shards each, a splintered echo of what once was whole. She is the anchor. With every death, every rebirth, she threads the source's fraying edges. The 13 reflections bleed chaos without her. Their histories war, their timelines collide. She is the fulcrum, she is the cost. No curse, no punishment, a design, a sacrifice woven before the first fracture. The source, full and unbroken, now lives only in fragments. Her cycle is the dam. Her pain, the pressure holding back the flood. What is a god but a tool when the world demands it? The oracle does not choose, she is chosen. Again, until the ledger balances, until the shards find harmony or silence. The world does not remember, it never will. But the source hums in her veins, the reflections tremble at her passing. And in the space between breaths, between lifetimes, the fabric holds. The oracle of light is not a prisoner of time. She is its keeper, the final entry in a ledger no one else dares write. The last hand before the ink dries. The ink dried with her final breath, each rebirth a stitch in the unraveling tapestry. the seventh umbral's shadow. A wound she bound with light, the dragon song war's thunder, a storm she channeled into rain. Endwalker's dusk when Hydaelyn fell not as a savior, but a sacrifice ere last thread woven into the loom. How many worlds did she burn through to keep this one alive? How many lives forgot her name? The oracle's laughter once echoed in Amarot's streets, now it lingers only in the cracks of time. You think the warrior of light defeated Zodiark? No, they freed Hydaelyn from a cage of her own making. The source's war fractured reality, her reincarnations were the mortar. Every dawn she bled to buy us dusk. Every dusk a debt unpaid, the final days do not loom, they whisper patient, eager. For when her voice fades, the ledger closes, the ink dries. And what remains is not salvation, but the hollow shell of a world that should have been ash. The oracle knows this, she has always known. Her grief is the weight of every age she could not save. Every future she must erase. The cycle is no curse, it is the price of a miracle that cannot exist. And we, dear fool, are the miracle, borrowed, frail, alive, until the next hand dares write. The cycle does not loop, it stitches. With each rebirth, the oracle knots the threads of yesterday to tomorrow. What if her final death is not an end but a thread pulled? Time unravels, memories fade. The war for the source bleeds back into the world. Do we dare imagine a reality where her light never reignited? Where the void between moments swallows all we are, the ledger of Scions is not closed, nor is the question. What would you sacrifice to keep the clock ticking? Share your reckoning below, the oracle waits. The cycle does not loop, it stitches. With each rebirth, the oracle knots the threads of yesterday to tomorrow. What if her final death is not an end but a thread pulled? Time unravels, memories fade. The war for the source bleeds back into the world. Do we dare imagine a reality where her light never reignited? Where the void between moments swallows all we are, the ledger of Scions is not closed, nor